I wonder.
Oh, there it is. You see it. You hear it. You know it. Oh, my. Like,
Yes, bring him in.
That's jarring. That's jarring. I mean, Age, like when I hear that honestly, I'm about to pee my pants, dude. That kind of scares me in an uncomfortable way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Wednesdays are for AJ. It's Bobby Carpenter show. We got 3 locales. Everybody's rocking and rolling here. Age, first of all, with you, dude, you were down in New Orleans. I know it's a hot spot. How was the Super Bowl, bud?
Yeah, I didn't go to the game, so I was there like Tuesday night, and I left Friday afternoon. But it was cool, man. Like New Orleans, New Orleans is its own. It's like it's such a different world from most places, from Columbus, Ohio, obviously. But it's been a little while since I've been there, so it was cool. You get to walk around there. There's a casino directly across from the hotel we were staying at. We got to stop by there a few times. And Friday afternoon, when we did shows there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Friday after the show, like that place, like I was getting out of town at the right time. Like that place was bumping. You couldn't go anywhere. You could barely it'd be a 25-minute drive, but you could walk in there in 7 minutes, 5 minutes. It's one of those things where just everyone was coming into town, and for good reason. They wanted to see a game, and they saw a good game, I guess, if you're an Eagles fan.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that game, AJ. What were your thoughts? First off, we did a thing last week on the show about Super Bowl food and what do you like, right? And we said some charcuterie. We said, meat infused queso, because you can't have a meal without meat of some capacity. What did you enjoy about your Super Bowl spread? And then elaborate about the game and what you saw transpire when the Eagles absolutely just dominated the Chiefs.
Yes, they did. The Eagles definitely dominated the Chiefs in that game. I guess I don't treat like Super Bowl food like I do Thanksgiving. I don't put as much importance on it, but there's always like a bunch. The Super Bowl food to me is just random, like everything. And we have, we hosted some people, not a ton of people over, but we had a bunch of kids as well. So you got to have a bunch of different chicken fingers and all that stuff for the kids. But I don't know. There's always some kind of soup or some kind of like chicken chili going on that Laura will make. She made some kind of white chicken chili stuff. I ate like 3 bowls and get super sweaty and tired after you do that. But Schlegs, calm down over there, Schlegs. I know.
I'm excited.
Hear it growing over there.
Let me ask you this question. You talked about white chili. Like, do you put crackers in there? Do you like townhouse? Like, what kind of cracker do you put crackers in? And if you do, what kind of crackers are you putting in there?
I mean, I did not this time. I ideally would put crackers in, and the crackers I want are the the Skyline crackers, the little oyster cracker deals.
Ooh, okay.
Are those? Let me ask you this: are those crackers in any way related to Antonio Brown's Cracker of the Week?
No, they're not. But I guess it'd be an honor, to be named that, right? Like AB on Twitter is
amazing.
It's something. It's awesome. Like what a creative, unique dude he is, and he is just exploring the space out there. So yeah, you never know what you're gonna get.
Honestly, this is a whole different demographic. I'm sorry.
I want to get AJ's thoughts on the trying to think who all was in there. All the Watson, Kraft, and Tucker posts together. What do you think he was trying to message with that? All those guys together.
I don't know. I mean, AB he's always up on like whatever the current hot topics are, whether it be pop culture or sports. But yeah, I tell you what, the Justin Tucker situation. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if he's addressed anything. That's awkward. That's unbelievable. If hopefully it's not true or whatever's going on. But I don't know. I tell you what, I tune in to see what AB is going to say. I don't know. You never know. Like being unpredictable, I think that's good on the internet. I think he's pretty. You can't really nail down exactly what he might say from minute to minute. So
we're talking about crackers. And that's a wide spectrum of things that we could be discussing. So you said, would you identify yourself? Because this kind of goes into maybe AB is watching this show, and maybe he should go into the depths of cracker and the meaning behind it. AKA, would you identify yourself, AJ Hawk, as an oyster cracker? Or because there's different levels, right? If you were to say, hey, Schlegs, you're the common, stale, cheap box in the little white plastic.
Saltines are good though.
Right? But they might be good for you. They might not be good for me because I'm a Townhouse cracker guy.
Oh, you're fancy, yeah.
Buttery. I like the buttery flavor. I want it to just absorb into my mouth. So good. So I think there's levels to this. What type of cracker would you identify with, and then why?
Great question, man. Great hard-hitting question. You brought it up, saltine crackers. That would be me because saltine crackers are legit. You can put them in whatever you want. You can put peanut butter on them, make a little sandwich.
Okay,
I used to have those when I was a kid at my grandma's house. So yeah, that's saltine cracker, I guess. So if I had to put myself into a category like that.
But you know what? You're versatile.
Yep.
You're fundamentally basic, right? Which you are. Like you eat the same thing every single day.
Yep.
You buy clothes from Walmart. You wear the same black stuff all the time, right? But yet, there's a lot of different. You could spice up that outfit with what? Some shoes, maybe a belt, right? You know what I mean? Like that's you. Like you're always ready at all times. So you are the epitome of what a saltine cracker would be. I like that. That's great.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't think that. I didn't. I guess foresee that coming up. You know, talking to you guys. But you know what? I feel good. I feel better about myself now.
You should. The versatility of the cracker. A guy who might be up for Cracker of the Month, maybe Cracker of the Year. Newly minted Lieutenant Governor Jim Tressel.
Oh my God.
The Ohio State Buckeyes. I mean, my parents are texting me, getting like 800 texts. I thought, hey, I'm down here in Guantanamo Bay, dude. I didn't even know if that was real. I thought someone just AI put him up there. My mom's like, no, they had a press conference and everything. Like this is happening. What are your thoughts about this, buddy?
So yeah, I watched his presser and classic Coach Tressel up there, just always in control, making little jokes here and there. He was
as good at State as the class of people we are.
I mean, that's the best. Bob you could call up any Coach Tressel line. Like you probably have 5,000 of them floating around your brain at any moment of his little like one-liners and different things we learned when we're there. But I think you should watch the presser, Bob. I don't know I didn't watch it if he took questions or not, but of course he's Lieutenant Governor. And Bob, you guys probably know much more than I do of what his responsibilities will be. I mean, is that it's like the vice lieutenant? What is it? Or vice governor? What is it? Almost.
I mean, you're the next guy up. You know, call him out of the bullpen.
So he could change. He actually can do some stuff. That's what all I'm.
Well, he already named the punt the official play of the state of Ohio.
Yeah,
I saw that on Twitter, on X. That's real. Like he did it first order of business.
Yeah, that would suit him well, but I think it's awesome. Why not? Like, why wouldn't you? And I think the governor even said, Coach Tressel doesn't have any political experience really, but he knows how to lead people, and he's a great leader and he's a great communicator. So why not? That's who you need.
What's amazing with that is I talked to him because I used to tell him did you need to get in? You need to run for governor, something. And then he's like, and Ellen's not having any of it. I mean, let's be honest, man. Tress is 72, maybe 72, 73, somewhere in the early 70s. But people want him to do more. I'm like, can the guy not just retire? Can he just not? And he was getting on me. He's like, Bobby, you're always filming my stuff. And I'm like, well, Coach, I don't know how many more times I'm going to get a chance to see you talk. He goes, well, what are you trying to say? I'm like, what I'm trying to say is I've heard you speak probably more than you're going to speak the rest of your life. I mean, that's just fundamentally accurate. So I'm trying to enjoy this. So the guy, and this is amazing because you know how selfless he is. He was doing the All About the Team podcast, and you were on there, Schleiks and I were on there. And just when anybody asks him to do something, even if he really doesn't want to do it, he will, I think, convince himself that it's the best thing, and especially if it's in service to others. And I'm like, this guy's the ultimate public servant. And now I think something that he probably never really wanted to do, but a lot of people urged him. But when the governor taps you and says, hey, Jim, we need you to be the lieutenant governor, I don't know how you really say no to that.
No, he basically said that too. I know, and Ellen was on board as well. But yeah, why think about people in politics, what they should do? They listen to people and then try to help those people out. But they have to communicate your message and where you're going, and the one common goal. And who better than Coach Tressel to communicate what we need and go out there and actually, we know him personally, so we know that there's nobody else in the world like him. There's only one Coach Tressel that truly does care about everyone, always in control, also super funny, dry, sarcastic, loves to mess around and joke on all of his old players. So yeah, he's one of one. There'll never be anyone else like him again. He's the best. I'd put him in, have a run for governor whenever DeWine's up, I guess.
I mean, he's so good because he'll ask a question followed up by 3 other questions until he just like, does that make sense to you? No. It's like, exactly. Right. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to bring everybody to the table. Please explain why this works for you. Okay. And then why? Why? Your side. Go. Why? Okay. So they're both wrong. Let's come up with a real solution. Attack and dominate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That'd be amazing. All right. So back to the game that happened in the Super Bowl, viewed by 126 million people. Tell us about that game, H. Like, what stood out to you from both sides of both teams, Eagles and Chiefs?
Yeah, so like with Pat, we make picks for all the games, and I end up I didn't like throughout the whole week. I was going back and forth. I'm thinking, how do you pick against the Chiefs? You know, it's Patrick Mahomes. I know what they can do, and I ended up picking the Eagles.
Good for you.
I flipped to picking the Eagles. Like, you know, I said 12 minutes before I made the pick, and it pretty much was like I just started envisioned like Saquon and whatever they were going to do, and Saquon didn't even have to have a monster day. And they still just absolutely dominated. I mean, you guys watched the Chiefs, they couldn't handle them. They couldn't block the Eagles. The Eagles front four, when you can get 4-man pressure, you can absolutely wreak havoc. And that Eagles defense was awesome. And then their offense obviously made all the plays as well. But yeah, like Cooper DeJean with the pick 6. And then what was really a killer was, Chiefs are down 17-0. They were driving and Mahomes throws, or not driving, they started the drive and Mahomes throws a pick from his own end zone. And with like 1:50 to go in the first half, and I was like, oh, that's it. Like that's brutal, because if Mahomes goes down and scores, makes it 17-7 going to half, and they get the ball after half, then it's a game. And that pick that Nick Bond got right there was huge. And I think from then on, you knew like this is going to be really a tough uphill battle for this Chiefs team.
Were you surprised, AJ, that the Philly D line just absolutely dominated? And is there anything tougher to stop in all of football than a relentless D line?
No, it's impossible. We saw it. Like, even with how quickly Mahomes gets out the ball out of his hand, everything, it didn't matter, because they were also like really disciplined too, and they were dominating their one-on-ones. But when they both their edge rushers were very disciplined and kept Mahomes bottled up, didn't let him escape outside like he can. And like when you have those two hard edges, that they're also having a hard time of keeping them off Mahomes. Obviously, they're getting plenty of hits and pressures. But then your D-line, your interior rush is just absolutely like in his lap. Like there's nothing they could do. That's the thing. Like why the Chiefs couldn't even really come back. I know they came back and scored, and that was an unbelievable bomb Mahomes had to Xavier Worthy, but it didn't really matter. But it was still a sweet play. But there's just when you can get 4-man pressure, you don't have to bring any extra guys. I mean, they shut everything down. It looked like it was a lot of fun to play in that Eagles defense.
So many things in there. You had hard edges, and you had dudes all over them, and there was so much in there to take in there. AJ, let's go this. What do they do now? What do the Chiefs do now? What do the Eagles do now? Because you winning a Super Bowl, and I like asking this question to you because you won it. And I was thinking about this the other day too. Like, how rare is that air that 53 guys on a roster over 59 years can say that they've won a Super Bowl? That's impressive. And you're one of those. And so what's the mindset going into the next year to repeat, you knowing that? But then where do the Chiefs go from here in their roster?
I mean, the Chiefs, it's kind of like when they got beat in the Super Bowl last time. I feel like they got to figure out a way to shore up their offensive line. I know they had some injuries this year and had to move people around. But number one, protect Patrick Mahomes. The thing is, they lost. So it feels like the dynasty is over and all that. We know it's not. We know Patrick Mahomes is still going to be Patrick Mahomes for a long time. So they'll be fine. They'll regroup. But the Eagles should be really good for a long time as well, with Jalen Hurts and all the young talent they had. And that was only Saquon's first year there. I think the Eagles could be a force to be reckoned with, and they should absolutely find a way to get themselves in that situation again next year to where they're competing for another ring. But yeah, sometimes I think people can get comfortable and things happen after a team wins the Super Bowl. But I think for the most part, it should motivate you. Like, you got there, you won one, and everything else sucks. Like, if we don't win the Super Bowl every year, it's a failure. I think you feel like, especially if you win one. So I know the year after we won 15-1 in the regular season, got a bye, and then got blasted in the first round of the playoffs. Like, that sucks. Like, and I can't point to like any one thing, like anyone was complacent or anything. Things happen. I guess it goes to show you how tough it really is. Like, think of all the things that have to happen for the team that wins the Super Bowl. Like, so many ups and downs throughout that season. You got to get lucky in certain times and lucky with injuries. but you got to make those plays like when it really matters. And man, the Eagles absolutely stepped up and played their best football when you needed it.
Yeah. Before we get you out of your Ryan Day trying to figure out coordinator situations. They named our guy, former teammate of ours, Brian Hartline, offensive coordinator last week. Haven't had a chance to talk to you. Kind of your thoughts on him doing that.
I was pumped for Hartline. Like, I'm pumped that this will be the first time he calls plays, correct?
Yes.
And I think that's awesome. We know what he's able to do with those receivers. I mean, every receiver on the planet, I think, wants to play for Hartline because of how well he helps develop those guys, and they come in as studs, and he makes them even that much better. So I think it's a great test for him too. Calling plays, it's a different planet, a different world. I know I've said a lot, like the one coach on a coaching staff that can affect the game more than anybody is whoever's calling the offensive plays. Like that person, that's a lot of responsibility, a lot of power, a lot of a lot of reps I think you need in that. So I think it's awesome for Hartline. That's what if you're a coordinator, if you want to be a head coach, whatever, you got to call plays at some point. And I think it's going to be cool. And I'm sure he's been taking notes and building his plan for years and years now. And he's probably excited.
You got anything else, Schlegs? Give you one more.
No. Oh my gosh. No, I have nothing. Hey, Jim, hey, what's on the docket for you this week, bro? What's on the docket for you this week? Because it's chaos. Basketball just got wrapped
Valentine's
up.
Day too, right?
Valentine's Day. Nate Ebner's wedding. Stuff like that. Like, what are you doing? What do you got going on this weekend?
Well, Valentine's Day, I this weekend.
What are you getting? What are you getting to Miss Laura? What are you getting her?
She always says she doesn't want anything, so I get her.
So what do you got to get her?
You got obviously like edible arrangement, chocolate dipped strawberries because I like to eat those as well. So got to get those. I don't know we'll see what else edible I might get her. But I actually did rent I rented a Sprinter van that I'm gonna for the weekend that the kids are going to be pumped to use, but we'll go take the Sprinter van to dinner or something on Valentine's Day and hang out. And then I'll use that the rest of the weekend, drive the kids to and from stuff. And, I'm a big fan of like RVs, Sprinter vans, any kind of alternative transportation from what we normally use. I'm a big fan.
So hold on. Are you driving the Sprinter van with her in it, or do you have like a driver for the Sprinter van?
I will normally be driving the Sprinter van, but when we go to dinner, I will find like an Uber situation to drive it for me. Yes.
Okay, good. I mean, you said, does Laura like anything other like the chocolate covered strawberries? I mean, do you get like the fondue like in the bedroom for some dipping in there?
No, Bob, like, our house, like everything is very clean. And so the thought of like food in the room, like when every once in a while, I'll bring in like eating protein bars in bed or something and she's asleep. I'm trying to chomp it and not wake her up, fall asleep like with some of it, asleep with some of it on you and whatever. Yeah. So that's happened. That's not, I like to eat at night. I'm a night eater. So sometimes that can happen. It's not.
Then it gets she'll get the hose. You eat in the bed, AJ gets the hose again. Like, you know the rules.
Yeah. She thinks someone took a dump in the bed because there's a protein bar smashed on my back because I fell asleep. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh. I love it, dude. That's tremendous. All right, dude. Well, you enjoy it. Have a great show with Pat. I'll get some great stories to give you from Gitmo back here. I'll have to show you. By the way, I was telling Schlegs, they literally have at the Marine base in Gitmo a picture of every commanding officer of the base. And I'm walking through and I got to meet the CO, great dude. And I joke, I go, where's Colonel Jessup's picture? And we walk down and AJ, they've got one hanging up of Jack Nicholson from a few good men, like in there, 1992, like April 1st or April 3rd to April 3rd, like 1992. And we got a picture around it. It was amazing. So they lean all into that and it's pretty tremendous. So I'll get you some stories.
I can't wait to hear all about it. Yeah. It looks sweet in the videos I've seen so far that you posted. So yeah, I'm sure have stories for days coming from that.
All right. Well, you enjoy it with old Patrick and we'll get together soon. All right.
All right. See you guys.
See you, buddy.
Oh gosh, that's scary. I feel like I'm in some sort of haunted woods when I hear that, Schlegs. But when we have this coming up, we've got attention. Parents, athletes, protect what matters most with Export mouth guards. Trusted by professional athletes and designed by NHL team dentists, Export mouth guards are scientifically tested to help absorb those high-impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain. Export mouth guards feature 3 layers of advanced protection. It's unbelievable. They 3D print that custom carbon fiber right to your grill for more protection, better performance, max comfort, clear communication, so you can focus on your game, not on your gear. Don't take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/Bobby today and save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. More of the Bobby Carpenter Show coming up next.
Welcome to Big Play, the fastest growing sports media company in America.
I'm gonna keep it straight with you. The reason you should watch our show is because I look good, baby.
Come get some!
Join our millions of fans for live sports talk shows hosted by the top former athletes and sports personalities in the industry.
Ohio, it's my home state.
Obviously, I'm a diehard Cleveland sports fan.
Watch what you want, where you want, when you want. Welcome to Big Play.
Make sure you tune in.
I love you, Cleveland.
All right, welcome back in the Bobby Carpenter Show. Listen, if you like what you're seeing here, like, subscribe, leave your comments, questions, hop in the chat. It gets a little wild. One of the questions in the chat, Schlegs, I know we get to our tailgate talk with Real Truck later, but someone brought up Bob's hammering some Cuban food. So here's the deal. When we used to do this trip, it used to be a Tuesday to Monday, I guess, or a Friday to Tuesday. And you come in, you do some stuff. We have a Super Bowl watch party, do some more stuff on Monday, fly out on Tuesday. Well, they cut the Tuesday flight out. So because of that, now we're here Friday to Friday. One on, one off, buddy. That's how you do it. And today was supposed to be a school visit. I guess they didn't have school, so I got pushed to tomorrow. And so there's the USS St. Louis in here. I call it the USS Nelly, Schlegs. So we were on that all the seamen, for lack of a better word, Schlegs, all the dudes on the boat, they've been out honest when they're in port, they're getting ready to pull out, I think tomorrow. And they were like, hey, you should come to the boat. You should come to the boat. I'm like, we would love to, but with everything going on, clearance is a little bit tougher right now. But we were able to get over there. Thankfully, they got in touch with the CO. They're like, if you show up, they'll just let you on. And it was cool because they're doing all their normal stuff. And I got a challenge coin, Schlegs, the commander.
Nice.
USS Missouri or USS St. Louis. It's LCS 19. So learn this. Odd numbered boats are Atlantic Fleet, even numbered boats, Pacific Fleet. So poof, David Copperfield. Learn something new every day. With that, it makes
I was just saying, I got you. I'm trying to think because, I don't know. I'm trying to remember how I can remember that. Maybe if you're looking, I don't know. So odd is Atlantic, even is Pacific.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So we
Good to
got that
know.
going.
Side nugget, everybody.
The chief petty officer, the highest ranking commissioned officer on the boat, gave us this. This is their challenge coin. Super cool.
It's the biggest challenge coin of all time.
It's monster, dude. I mean, I might keep this for self-defense if I get in my car and I need to bash somebody. This freaking eagle on the top, it could do some damage. You get somebody in the temple, they're done. So I got those. I'm going to try to get a couple more of these bad boys. I love collecting challenge coins, and I feel like they keep getting bigger and bigger. Usually they're smaller, and these things get bigger. They're more flair on them, but they're awesome. And the history of the challenge coin was I think it goes almost back to World War I, but you would take them behind enemy lines where you're doing a forward operating advance, and that's how you would identify whether they were friend or foe. Because some of these folks, especially the Germans back in the day, they said they could talk with great English accents and you couldn't tell. Or they could speak to you in a French accent. Why would you not know who's on your side, who's not? So you'd hit it, put it in your hand, like the old $500 handshake, Schlegs, put it in there and you slide it. And if they didn't have a challenge coin, well, you know what, buddy? Then you didn't hear the cling. Then you knew challenge not accepted. Next step, shoot him in the stomach, finish him off. So it's cool, the history behind all of it. So we were running around there getting some unbelievable pictures, some stuff I'll get posted here. But obviously it ran a little long. And so we went to lunch, and then I was just pouring sweat because it's like a Chipotle style deal. And we've gotten the same thing every day. It's delicious. But I had to then hump it back from the restaurant, little mess area, back up here. And it's not far. It's probably a half a mile. But I mean, it's 85, 90 degrees, dude. So I was like,
awesome.
pouring sweat as I'm doing it, running with food in one hand. My challenge coins are like clean in my other pocket, trying to get all that stuff done. This is great. Why don't you put that up there, Pat? This is Schlegs that Pat Ferguson in the chat said your
Mike.
going to be a 45-pound plate. I mean, can
No
you
doubt.
hand slap some of that? But they also down here today, Schlegs, they have I just realized they have a sauna in the gym, so it was great, dude. Went down, pounded out like a mile and a half, did some legs, some back, and then went and sat in the sauna for like 15 minutes and just got feeling good again. So I've been drinking a bunch of water. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
So got up today. Last night I really didn't drink at all. I'm going to do some fishing. There's some unbelievable fishing down here. So that's all part of it. And then they also gave me a sweet shirt off the boat as well. The dudes the search and rescue, like the dudes that have a Black Hawk on there that they go in and they go shoot out the engines on drug boats and like pull their little rip out and go get them. I mean, it's pretty cool. Like all the stuff that they do with the boat, 'cause it's not huge. It's like 100 and some or a couple hundred feet, but it can cruise. So it does a lot of cool things there throughout the Caribbean. So it was awesome to meet the servicemen from that. Like I said, I'll get that stuff posted and you'll be able to take a look at it. But the naval dudes were a lot of fun and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, I just like that you're having a good time for a good cause. It's great that we had AJ. It's great that we're talking about all this stuff. I got a comment in here, Bob, and I want to go to this with you because I can't wait to hear these stories when you and I go on the Buckeye Cruise as we raise money. I'm going to hit this with two things, just really side note because it's popped in my brain. I was reading on the X Machine, and somebody had commented that if they had Ryan Dane's contract, they would have gave $5 million.
Oh, gee. I love it. I love when we spend other people's money.
Exactly. And that's absurd. And I also think that people forget, like Ryan donates to the Buckeye Cruise, which goes to the James Cancer Hospital, also to his own. But let's not also forget all the time, energy, and effort that they do for other foundations that raises money. Like your time is also worth something as well. People don't forget that. Anyways, I digress. Somebody is talking about walk me off. Like I'm walking the plank, Bob. Like, get me off this with the Matt Patricia hire. It scares me. No, it's not. I don't know, Bob, but I will say this. I do know that Joe Cullen is staying in Kansas City.
Yeah,
so that's a deal. But let's talk more because we were talking yesterday about how I think it's very interesting that college pro guys are going, because we've seen this like in the pros. So you guys know, normally a pro coach will stay. Lifestyle is completely different. You're not recruiting. But you look at Knowles last year. Knowles really wasn't a recruiter.
No.
It's different now in college because your staff, the difference between college and NFL, your staff has to be salesmen. Where in the league, you're not. That's where they have a general manager and they have scouts. Normally in the NFL, a coach can go from team to team, be an assistant, paid, watch, evaluate, look for tendencies, could also potentially work in the front office evaluating talent, right, of free agents, college draft picks, etc., while they fill that gap to where somebody they know gets a job and they can come back and be a position coach. That's normally how it goes. But now we're kind of seeing like, hey, I could go bridge that gap, continue to call plays, and then jump back to the league. Talk to us about Matt Patricia. Now, and I mean that in the way of coordinating ball, not necessarily head football coach.
So as a coordinator, because people get worried about Patricia as far as like they hear the things about him as a head coach in Detroit. And I really like Matt. I was there his first year in New England
now it's breaking news. Now it's breaking news.
Yeah. So I guess we're on, and I guess that's a thing maybe. And I guess that's maybe happening. But like playing for him, Matt is wildly intelligent. First of all, like he's an aeronautical engineer. I mean, he's literally a rocket scientist. I mean, he's up there. Very, very intelligent.
Is he wearing a Kangol? Wearing a Kangol?
Yeah.
I used to rock Kangos way back in the day.
Of course you
in
did.
high school. Shimmery shirts and some Kangos, man. Well, I mean, it was Redbird Mall in South Dallas. Like, I mean, it wasn't like I had a lot to choose from.
All right, we got along for a break here. We're gonna get to that.
All right, fine.
Breaking news: the Matt Patricia hire. We got more than that here coming up next.
the Big Play Sports Network. Download the free app today to watch all of your favorite hosts on demand.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like... I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer. Okay, so, I mean, Pete Thamel was reporting it. School's new defensive coordinator, head coach of the Lions, obviously DC with the Pats. My guy Albert Breer came in, spent a lot of time with Belichick in the last year studying the college game. Understanding that, he's probably going to bring in Steve as his DC there if he took a college job, which someone goes, well, why wouldn't Belichick bring him in? I'm like, because, his son, he hired his son, Steve. That's probably the main reason why he's still coaching as a coach with his son. Matt Patricia, you would find him very intelligent, does a really good job communicating with players. Never really been in college, or it's been, I'm not saying never. A lot of guys get their start in college. It's been a while since he's been in college, but he's very smart. He relates well. And here's the other thing, like when you have great recruiters on your staff, like Guerreri, like Tim Walton, like James Laurinaitis, like Larry Johnson, you have great recruiters on there already, then you don't necessarily need a guy who is a great recruiter. Like Jim Knowles really didn't recruit much. That wasn't his thing. But you do have, I think having an NFL guy does give you, I don't know if it's a leg up, but I think that there is an acknowledgement where maybe for player acquisition, like guys like playing for guys that are NFL guys, and it gives them maybe a leg up in the game moving forward. There's a complexity to it, and it's a pretty veteran staff now with what you have there on the defensive side of the ball. And I'm not sure if Patricia ever coached with anyone else on this staff before. I'll have to do my research, and if there's like any overlay of the coaching tree, because that's the biggest thing is like, do you have guys who have coached in like similar systems or have coached under same guys? So like there's some familiarity of experience and how things are run and what you like and dislike. So I'm going to dig into that, Schlegs, and see what I can find out.
Well, here's the thing. So Phil J in the chat. So Phil, I hope you're accurate. Tim Walton, co-defensive coordinator, makes me feel better. Guerreri, passing defensive coordinator. So what does that mean, everybody? That means they got a pay raise, which they should. And here's the biggest thing. And I'm going to ask you these questions, Bob. All right? I want you to answer. What is the one greatest thing that Bill Belichick did that you watched, or of his teams that he did at an elite level?
Situational football. Very good. It's situational football.
Huge, right? Like, guys, I'm telling you this, there is a difference in the college game and the pro game of situational football. Everything you do, like there's literally meetings about situational football. What would you do in these moments? Both on offense and defense, okay? Number two, what else did he do very, very well week to week, game to game?
He would design a defense, particularly for the offense. And it'll be interesting to see how they do that here, because it was a lot. I don't want to say a lot, but it was every week. Like, it wasn't like you carried over a lot. There was I wouldn't say tear it up, but there was basically a brand new plan of attack virtually every week based upon the team that you were going to be coaching against.
And I think with younger athletes like that, Bob, I think you have the foundation, right? We can equate this to strength conditioning. I'm going to equate it to strength conditioning. Say, hey, man, one, strength is the foundation of everything, guys. So everybody knows that. All right, two, this game, guess what? We're going more power. This game, guess what? We're going more speed. But guess what you always have? The strength aspect. So what I say by that is the base is the base. Predicate. I always thought that Bill, every year, Bob, utilized his talent acquisition to put them into positions of being successful. We saw that this year with Caleb Downs and Lathan and Jordan, and the things we were able to do in the back end that we weren't able to do in previous years that allowed those guys attributes to be at their highest level that gave us a competitive advantage. And so I think in that game, because you got to remember, the coaches can recommend, hey, I would like to bring these guys. These are my top 3, but they don't get to go necessarily get them. And hell, if you're in Dallas, Jerry's just picking what he thinks is the best. Your job is to make it work, right? So now but they do that very, very well. And I think bringing that kind of like mindset, probably Ryan talking with him on situational football and lessons learned from the NFL and those type of things. I think he really liked that. And I will also challenge the Guerreros. James has been there. Larry has not, though he's been in the college game for a long, long time. I think that's what he's going to bring that will help both sides of the ball, and why I do like this. I'm intrigued, right? The biggest thing is, too, remember this, Bob. In the rooms conveying the message to the players are your position coaches, right? James was, even though James was the assistant 2 years ago, he was the linebacker coach.
Yeah.
The defense coordinator he's the floater. You know what I mean? So it's those guys are the ones that are delivering the message. The biggest thing for Matt not having worked with anybody on the staff, it will be setting the precedent that.
So here's the thing. I did a little research. Like there was, because I knew Tim was at Syracuse for a year with Paul Pasqualoni, I love Paul. He's my linebacker coach in Dallas.
Yeah.
Paul is a hard charging guy, and what you would define like as a grinder for the entire staff. Like people were working hard for him. And I knew
played for him.
I did for 2 years, and I knew Patricia was there. Matt was actually a GA on the staff when Tim was there in 2001 or 2, I want to say. So there is a little bit of overlay. It's a long time. It's 20 years ago. But just having familiarity with someone and coaching for someone who a lot of people would deem as an aggressive coach, like they understand, they can relate, they can communicate. Both of them have been NFL guys for a long time. And I love the fact, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break. I'm going to tell you why I like the setup of this in our headlines coming up next. Welcome back into the Bobby Carpenter Show. We got some headlines, and since it's breaking news today, a lot of things are out there. There's a lot
I'm already over here in the chat just trying to ease the tension, baby. Keep it. I'm over there like Happy Gilmore style, just easing the tension, baby.
Yeah,
you know,
it's what you're trying to do, and it's what I'm
trying to do for you guys.
Trying to do.
Listen, it's gonna be okay.
People say that he's a trash DC. I'm like, the guy won Super Bowls. Like, he's a really good defensive coordinator. You ask anybody that played for him how good he is. Now, was he a good head coach? No. Was Bill Belichick a good head coach his first time around? There's a lot of guys that are better the more they've done it. I remember people saying Jim Knowles was a trash DC at times during his tenure at Ohio State.
Or even this year.
And even this year, this is like during his tenure meeting Oregon this year of like the first Oregon game. Listen, I like this. First of all, I said I like the setup of it. Here's why. Tim Walton, you want to make sure you keep him on staff, having him be a co-DC with this. And like I said, folks, some of this, it's titles, it's pay raises, but those things matter. So you have Matt Patricia in there as your DC, Tim Walton as your co-DC. I think that Ryan had probably kicked around a lot. And maybe I think that there was a degree where he was going to lean in and make Guerrero and Walton, DC, co-DC, but you made
I like that too.
I like that too. But you make Guerrero the passing game coordinator. So you have a lot of continuity now, new defensive coordinator. I'm curious how they're going to handle the verbiage and what they do. And Ryan might be pulling a Nick Saban on this saying, hey, I like the verbiage of what we called. We're going to keep that the same. And also with Matt Patricia, they're very multiple up front. That's an NFL thing where everybody's wanted to see more of a 3-4 odd front. I think Matt Patricia, we did a decent amount of that in New England. We did some different things, and we're more multiple. And so you can then benefit from players like CJ Hicks and some of the roles that they could provide. So I think that will be a piece that will be important for this. But you keep a lot of those familiar parts in place. You give them title bumps, which is key, because it's tough. Like when you're a co-coordinator, that's easier than to become a coordinator, or the passing game coordinator. It's easier to move up. And that's what guys want to do. They want to feel like they're moving forward and that there's continuity among staff. But Matt Patricia is not a trash defensive coordinator by any stretch. I could bring in a number of guys who are Buckeyes who played for him up there, who will sit there and tell you that he's really good at his job. And some of it's player based. Like the Ohio State defense was great this year, Slags. You know why? They had a really good scheme. And then they also had a lot of great players who were old. Who played a lot of ball.
They had we just lost 8 dudes, guys. We just lost 8 dudes. I mean, again, you go back in Michigan, right? Michigan, what they have? They had 44, 45 seniors on that team, on that veteran team that won a national championship. Ohio State this year, you look at defensively, all of those guys, long in the tooth, developed at Ohio State. The biggest thing is like you're replacing 8 starters. You have Sonny, you have Caleb, and you have IGB that are back from last year. You have some guys that have had a lot of meaningful reps. Honestly, you want to know the biggest question right now in our defense is our defensive line. Yeah. That's the question going into 2025.
Lost all four guys.
You lost all 4 absolute alphas.
Yeah.
Okay, 4 alphas, and the alphaness is not the genetic potential. The alphaness is the fact that they were game wreckers, right? Like they played with an attitude, they played with a chip. The biggest thing is, how do you keep that going? The good thing was a lot of those people got to witness it, and hopefully they can break through, drop their sack, and attack in 25.
And so the biggest thing I think you'll find with Matt Patricia is he's not a system guy. And I always say there's guys that were system coaches, and then there are guys that were, I want to say innovators. Maybe that sounds a little too positive, but there's certain guys that coach their system, bring in guys that fit their system. Then there's other guys that say, hey, what are the guys that we have? What can we do with them? And do we have guys that have special, unique talents? Like Caleb Downs, they did some very unique things with him last year. They also are able to do that because they had Lathan and Jordan Hancock, who are also really good. And let's not forget this. Everybody said Caleb Downs, maybe the best returning defensive player in college football. He played for Nick Saban. Nick Saban's a Belichick guy. The terminology and how they run their defense is very similar. And so you're going to see, I guarantee you, some usages of Caleb Downs and the verbiage and the things that go on. There's a familiarity with that. And so that, Schlegs, is a very positive thing as well. And it's something that people probably aren't necessarily looking at as much as they would have before. And the utilization of a guy like CJ Hicks and some other things, I think is going to be very, very high. All right. We'll take a pause on that. Because we're going to have some questions coming up, and I'll let you answer them. We'll get into the questions and the comments with our friends from Tailgate Talk by Real Truck coming up next.
Get the most out of work, life, and all your outdoor adventures with top-selling upgrades for your truck. Guaranteed fit, free shipping, easy install, expert support, and thousands of dealers just a click away. Bring your truck to life. Real Truck. Upgrade today and save between $50 and $400 on select Real Truck products. Visit realtruck.com/specials.
All right, now we're into our Tailgate Talk, brought to you by our friends at Real Truck. And listen, folks, if you're in the chat, you have all this stuff, you want to ask some questions, fire away. It is Tailgate Talk. It's Real Truck time. Just go to realtruck.com. Outfit your truck, Jeep, Bronco, whatever it is. They're going to help you do a great job of it. They have all the things you want. You put in the make and model, boom, they fire out the order that fits what you can get. They package it up for you, they ship it to you. And if you spend $100, they're going to ship it to you for free. And so that's what they do for you. That's the type of company they are. They're absolutely phenomenal. Bring your truck to life, or Jeep or Bronco, just like Schlegs and I did, at realtruck.com.
Hey,
all
Bob,
right,
real fast. I'm going to tell you this. Again, I speak in human performance standpoint, but remember we were talking about Patricia and being able to adapt. There's things in training called principles, right? Like fundamentals that you have to have. And then in football, there's scheme. And I would say in strength and conditioning, there's methods like the SET principle, specific adaptation to imposed demands. Your body's going to adapt to the imposed demands on it through training. You have the progressive overload. That's a principle. But then there's a lot of different methods to get to that, right? Conjugate, block periodization, 5-3-1 model, triphasic, all this different stuff. I think that when you're a DC and you come into somewhere else, you have your foundation, your principles that you will always live by. The methodology of which you put on top of those principles can be adapted. And I think that that's what Matt will be able to do based on the personnel and what's already been established. Bob, continue. Let's go.
I love that you brought that in. You know, one other thing, Schlegs, I learned this in the military yesterday. I thought I'd heard it all. Talk about all those good sayings, and AJ was bringing them up. Pain retains. Remember that. So you like that. Pain retains.
Yeah, that's right. Pain. I always said pain is the indicator of life.
Yeah. Well, I'll get you going. All right. Let's see if we've got some questions here in this. Phil J. Schlegs put up there. You guys made me feel much better, more confident about the hire. Thanks, family. Let's get on a run and get this crap back. And here's the thing, like, people look and I understand, like, Matt Patricia wasn't a good head coach in Detroit. Like, Steve Spagnuolo was not a great head coach in St. Louis. But you know what he's done, Schlegs? He's been a coordinator, I think, if he would have won for more titles than anybody. Like, there's certain guys that are better for one job than another. There's certain guys that just need to learn things sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely great point, Bob. Next question.
No,
somebody in there said about the young guys are ready to step up. I'm going to say this to you.
Lunatic Fringe puts in here, Curry, Jackson, K-Mac, Houston, all ready to be dudes, which I think is true. The problem is the depth on the defensive line. I think that is accurate. I think you have a pretty good group of 4. Now, they've got to prove they can be consistent. Now, Kenyatta and Cade, they're older. I mean, these guys are going to be fourth-year players. They're going to be good to go. K-Mac is showing you something. Edric moved inside. I think he showed you something. But the consistency piece, especially those guys inside, but it's really going to be the depth, Schlegs, and you can talk about that.
The depth separated us this year across the board for everybody. And I would say this. I think that you can't go and say, yeah, I'm going to go now be the dude. But you got to look at what made Jack the dude. The dude. What made JTT the dude? Right? Like, there's a mindset, and it's a consistent mindset that every day I'm going to go in and handle your business. And I'm telling you right now, I think Caden, like I saw Caden reminds me of John Simon. I shit you not. Like, he is the 2025 version of John Simon. Probably a little bit more athletic. Maybe not as strong.
He's not
as strong. Right? But like KJ, like, needs some more edge to him. All of them need more edge when you're playing in that. And I put in there, like, the mindset that I'm going to physically dominate you. I want, like, challenge me, mother effer. Like, let's freaking go. Then you take that, and the most critical components, we saw this year on the offensive line. But to having success in college football is depth on the offensive defensive line. You got to be able to have guys that can rotate in, right? Offensive line, you got to have guys that can step up and play. Seth alluded to it last week, where you had guys that are seen on the depth chart at the beginning of the season as your 8th, 9th, 10th guys that were starters that were playing at a high level that could have played anywhere in the country. That's development. Coach Fry did a great job of that. We needed some of that on the defensive line to step up, and that's what the offseason's for.
Well, and also with this, you're going to have opportunities because you have a lot more young guys. I mean, you had 4 guys who played 4 or 5 years. Those dudes were war horses, and they would play a lot. But also, Schlegs, against Penn State, I mean, I think K-Mac was in there on the Penn State on one of the 4th down. I mean, you had younger guys in there at times to be able to get stops. So these guys have experience. It's just the consistency, developing depth, and I'm sure they'll rotate a lot and try to get that rolling. But that's going to be on them to see if they can get it going. All right. Been an eventful show. I didn't think down here in Guantanamo Bay, Schlegs, we'd be getting breaking news about defensive coordinators and who we got. But I'm telling you this, Matt Patricia is a smart man, and he also is smart enough to understand the dynamics of the room and the dynamics how things work with guys. So I'm pretty sure that this will be working out. And he's got a pretty solid beard. So if you want to challenge him to a beard off, you got that going for you as well. All right, coming up next, we got our parting thoughts with one, Mr. Anthony Schlegel.
Get the most out of work, life, and all your outdoor adventures with top-selling upgrades for your truck. Guaranteed fit, free shipping, easy install, expert support, and thousands of dealers just a click away. Bring your truck to life. Real Truck. Upgrade today and save between $50 and $400 on select Real Truck products. Visit realtruck.com/specials.
All right, Schlegs. Floor is yours. Floor is
Hey,
yours.
My floor, I don't even know where I'm going to go with this, Bob, but I will say this. One, I got to see McLean, your daughter, in here training, doing a phenomenal job, by the way. Very athletic, looks just like you, same body. And then I got Lennon Hawk coming over today to train basketball with Tyrell, which is awesome. And I get a lot of joy out of seeing young people. But then even today, I was just like walking around the gym and I saw a bunch of like original West Side guys that were in here getting bumpy. And we're just talking shop. And what I love about gym spaces and West, like you got West Side, you got Metroflex where I grew up. And really the goal, the vision of the Armory is just people coming in there to be the best version of themselves, regardless of, like I said, the methodology behind it. I don't care if you CrossFit or Olympic lift or power lift, or you're, a 43-year-old mom, Stephanie Gale Schlegel, that's coming in here doing rucking on the treadmill while your kid's training. Like, I think we got to get back to where, people just appreciate other people's work, and that's the best thing. So anyways, super fun day for me. And I get to talk to everybody out there. And we're talking about randomly awesome things about the Buckeyes and about college football and side nugget in life. And we got AJ Hawk, who makes you screech when he's coming in to kill field mice.
Absolutely.
And he's a saltine cracker, by the way. I learned that about AJ Hawk. He is the epitome. Hey, saltine cracker, that's AJ.
It is. Saltine
Next
cracker.
time I see him, I'm going to say, saltine, motherfucker. Like that. I'll do that.
All right. We had an entertaining and fun show today. A lot of breaking news, some good stuff here. We'll keep diving into this more as the week goes on, as more information is out, and maybe get even Matty P on here as well. But we got all that coming up here. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow, 12:30 for the Bobby Carpenter Show.